Doing? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Money Monday, episode 12 or something like that. We guess every week, and we still don't know.
We just guess every single week. Nobody really knows what it is.
Low-key, someone could go back and count, or we could just always bring it up and no one ever know.
But yeah, every Monday, 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern, hanging out here, answering your questions. Saw a couple people in chat ahead of time. Love to see it. What up, Locomotion?
What up, Walker? Walker, you look like a young Andrew Braun, actually, low key.
For real.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Or current Andrew Braun if you grew his hair out.
Yeah, we got Money Monday. What about a Wealthy Wednesday?
What do
you think, Aaron?
Make it happen, Aaron.
The Wealthy Wednesday this week is our free Q4 masterclass that Warner and myself are hosting. We got a ton of good feedback on the last one, so make sure you register for that if you're interested in a bunch of Q4 sauce we haven't shared publicly.
Maybe he was. I can't tell if he was tossing us a softball there or if he was just actually making a joke.
All I know is 0 Day was born for greatness.
That is true.
That's all I know.
Also, I don't know if you guys have been introduced to Ace and Born yet, but he was on my stream the other night. It's one of the best. It's one of the best Amazon specific YouTube handles I've seen.
Cool. Okay.
Ace and Born.
What up, Hunter? What up, Chad? So just drop some questions. Let us know what we can help you guys out with. Corey, do you guys do like anything differently Q4 prep wise, or is it just business as usual?
Yeah, nothing different at all. I mean, it really is
funny.
Just business as usual. We don't even source a lot of seasonal. I mean, there definitely are some products that we stocked up on that traditionally do well this time of year, but for the most part, it's business as usual.
Did you guys get regated on anything?
I didn't know
so there were two Gillette ASINs that it's crazy because on Friday we submitted an order for them. We sent a wire Friday like 3 p.m. and then we get an email at 5 p.m. from Amazon saying, "Hey, by the way, you're now gated on these ASINs."
Damn.
We literally 2 hours later.
Something else in your life.
That's what I said. I'm like, dude, I must have pissed somebody off or done something bad. But
you grimaced at the cashier yesterday or something like that.
But the weirdest thing is that on the product page, if we try to click here to get to apply or whatever, it doesn't even let us apply. We're fully restricted. But there's a violation that came up in our account health, and Amazon basically let us submit invoices for that ASIN.
Ooh, okay.
And they sent us an automated email saying, "Hey, you're based on the invoices, you're approved to continue selling this product," but it still won't let us list it. So we're playing that game with seller support where we're trying to see are we gated, are we ungated? So,
I feel like the whole regating stuff will just work itself out in a couple of days. Everyone's just freaking out.
Yeah,
I feel
I've got multiple DMs from people saying, "Hey, this happened to me before. I ended up getting ungated again." The reports I'm getting are "Oh, it takes 1 to 2 days," and some people are saying, "Oh, it takes 1 to 2 weeks." So it's I don't know. It sucks.
I think it's because it's paired with the Section 3 stuff that's hitting people. Everyone, the sky's falling if you're not in the space and you know what's up.
If you got hit by both of them,
it's it feels like the sky is falling. But Amazon does some weird stuff this time of year every Q4. It always works itself out.
Well, usually it's storage limit related.
They pick a random thing. We've seen it. It's something new.
Miles, you and I have had some stressful lead ups.
Dude, I would have done 700 last year if I had unlimited in December. I would have had unlimited if I had unlimited storage. Okay, super good question here. Do you try and make a new account for the 15% of Nike out every time? Yes. Very, very good question. All my Nike outlet bandits watching. You need to get what's called a catch-all, ALL. All one word, a catch-all email created so you can loop coupons again and again. It's very similar to anytime you're doing online arbitrage and you see a website that has a 15% email sign-up code, for example, you can just use the catch-all email and make a new account again and again and print the wealth with that coupon again and again. And those are the types of discounts that are the difference between a lot of products not being profitable and a lot of products being profitable. So you need to be cognizant of that.
Dude, I was at the Philly outlets walking around the Nike. There was so many profitable shoes. It was unreal. And they had the extra 30% off the back wall or whatever.
Yep, that's wild.
It was nutty.
So there's a really good question here. Somebody asked, the brand wants to get rid of unwanted sellers. What are some strategies to kick off unauthorized sellers? So there's really only one tried and true confirmed way to truly get sellers off your listings, and that is to stop selling them products. So at the end of the day, there's nothing that's going to verify that a seller stays off a listing aside from cutting off what they're basically cutting off their supply. And that all comes down to distribution control. So you want to work with the brand and say, like, if that brand has, let's say, 15 different distributors that they sell through, then it's going to be very difficult and very time consuming for them to control Amazon. But if they sell to every retailer themselves, right? If they don't sell through distribution, they just sell themselves, then it's very easy, right? They just cut off the sellers that they don't want to sell on Amazon anymore. The only other way would be to enroll the ASIN in the transparency program. Technically, its transparency program is not meant for enforcing an exclusive selling agreement. So it's kind of a gray area in terms of service, but that's an option as well. And that within 30 days, everybody who wants to list that ASIN will be required to affix a certain barcode to it that you can only get from the brand.
What are the main sites that cancel orders a lot? So the big one's going to be Target. I feel like Nike after a certain point.
It totally depends on what you're doing though, because like there'll be a site that you can get 10K through and somebody else can't get a single order. Like I was cooking on a site with Jimmy and he's just like railing stuff. I got literally 6 units canceled. So it just varies person to person so much.
Yeah. So if you're asking that question, you definitely should not be worrying about order cancels on a specific site until they happen. Because a big misconception a lot of beginners have is that order cancels are non-repairable. They are incredibly repairable.
Good way to put it.
For sure.
And just test a bunch of things, right? PayPal, Google Pay, gift cards from that store, specific order quantities, right? Different order quantities, different sites have different sort of soft limits. So try a bunch of stuff. Try kind of manipulating your ship to address. Don't mess up your billing address. Got to leave that alone for authenticities and things like that. But just try a bunch of stuff.
How long is it worth waiting for the dankest Black Friday deals or best Black Friday deal? Should I wait till week of, day of? That's a good question. So I usually like Cyber Monday has some of the cheapest inventory, but all through the weekend you should be spending money. I've even talked to different sellers who Black Friday was their best, Cyber Monday was their best. So it really just depends on like what sales you end up stumbling on. At this point, John, if you're super capital strapped, you might want to get like stricter on what you're buying so that you can deploy plenty on Black Friday.
Definitely like the week of, the 2 weeks before, you really want to start gearing up, planning, preparing. I think we talked about last week some of the ways to identify some of the sites and sales that are going to be going on. I feel like the Black Friday sales are probably already out for this year. If not, just go look at last year's to kind of get an idea in terms of what sites are doing what. And you can start preparing and creating buy lists.
Yeah, and speaking of the buy list, that's incredibly important. And honestly, one of pretty much the easiest ways, it's like honestly a very, very simple way to make a bunch of profit with Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Just start out with like any sort of winter themed item like Nike pants or whatever, and just find a couple listings, just searching on Amazon, open them up, go to the year long, see if they did well last year, and then add those to a SellerAmp spreadsheet. And then as you're doing more and more product research the next couple of weeks, you're going to see tons of stuff that performed really well last Black Friday. And those are going to be listings you're going to want to put on those one-click export spreadsheets in SellerAmp to source during Black Friday, Cyber Monday when things get really easy.
That's like a cheat code. That's literally like, it's impossible to not make money doing that. Yeah. Like if you have a solid buy list of, say, I mean, probably as little as 10, but upwards of 20, 30 different products at least, then you're going to make a lot of profit just in that 2 week period or even 2 day period if you source right up to the holiday.
And here's another thing, right? So here we go, right? So you take the headphones, you put the headphones in, right? You put on Big Booty Mix 19.
14.
Oh my God. Yes. 14. Okay, 14. And then you lock in and you put 45 minutes on the timer. And you go through and you source a ton of listings. You look at what big sellers are selling. Pro tip, if their price is way above the current price, you know that's inventory they're holding. You buy list a lot of those products because those are really, really smart people, right? And then you can build a gigantic database. I'm talking, you can find dozens of products an hour that performed really well last year. And now you know what to source for Black Friday. And you don't have to speculate or take any risk because you're only going to be buying stuff that's profitable today, but you can really easily build a database of stuff that's done really well last year.
And same thing that we talked about with Halloween, as we approach to like Thanksgiving, the days before Thanksgiving, it's just so easy to find smart sellers, right? Because those are the sorts of sellers that are finding those really super arbitrageable seasonal items. And then you can probably map back other non-seasonal stuff to their catalog, right? Some of the sort of stuff that you're maybe more comfortable selling, not necessarily as seasonal specific. It's all about learning. It's all about learning, finding those adjacencies, and then finding smart sellers to keep on learning from.
Yeah.
To ungate athletic wear, what should ship out the order of 10 the fastest?
Well,
Can't you order from Target and just do a pickup and pay for it on your phone and then just not pick it up and then it refunds you with like 3 business days? Somebody told me that one
No,
time.
Corey.
I know. I don't advocate for returning inventory like that, but somebody told me that that's like the fastest way.
Well, you want some 300 IQ sourcing, right? You source the deal, you place the pickup order,
And don't pick it up until it's
list the
selling.
product FBM, and now it's like, there's a good chance it would sell anyway if you gave it a couple days. But like Kohl's has a 7-day order pickup window. Like put the items in escrow, print the
Putting the items in.
That's a tweet. That's a tweet.
Pick them up when they sell, right? Like this is what you guys, you know what I mean? This is what Monday is all about. It's time to get fucking rich the next 60 days. Like there'll be grandmas putting up 50K months in December. You guys got to understand that. Like you guys really truly have to understand this stuff. Like it's go time.
What's the worst cons for selling generic? I mean, you can get shut down pretty easily, so I would just avoid it altogether. Someone actually just released a video or something on Twitter saying how to like cross-check your current catalog for generic listings.
Tony.
Yep.
I followed that video. I followed it, and I found one listing I'd missed.
Yeah, I had none. How do y'all prevent multiple sourcers from wasting time on overlapping ASINs? I'm getting a team together for Black Friday to maximize ASIN spread when reverse sourcing. So I kind of think if you're even looking at that closely, you're kind of probably overthinking it, just because like multiple people could source the same ASIN and someone would find it profitable and someone wouldn't. Right. So you got to understand there's only so many good products and there's tons of them. And as you do more and more reverse sourcing, you're going to come across people that are selling patterns of the same leads, buying from the same websites, etc. And it's not necessarily looking at tons and tons of products. It's being able to find a certain percentage of them profitable, which for online arbitrage comes to getting discounts, i.e. coupons, buying products on sale, discounted gift cards, that kind of thing.
Will Nike Black Friday listings be tanked and somebody said you got to be quick, right? So that's either merchant fulfilling, right? That's beating people to the market and being as quickly as possible. Maybe that looks like paying for that expedited shipping, right? Paying for the 2-day shipping as opposed to the majority of people who won't get that product for 5 days or 4 days, right? And so you couple that 2-day premium shipping with FBM, your products may be gone by the time most people even get their stuff, right? So you just have to beat the 70-80% to market, and it's not that very hard to do.
And luckily for Black Friday too, people are lazy as shit. You see the tweets like, oh, I'm done for the year on November 31st. Like we're just getting started on November 31st. Like most people don't do FBM. Most people don't try. Like, you shouldn't really be worried about that. And you should be testing stuff really lightly. So you should be taking as little risk as possible as well.
Yeah. Plus that's like the category and brand that is going to be flying. So it's like, yeah, maybe I would mean if there's a big vitamin sale during December, that you might run into some saturation and stuff. But as long as you're sticking to fast selling listings.
Plus, a lot of that stuff may take a hit after Black Friday, but it'll definitely rebound approaching Christmas. So just be patient and be smart with what you're doing.
You guys see that?
lowering your prices or making everything sell on like December 5th, December 1st is like the biggest mistake a lot of you guys will make too. You gotta have a little patience. Stick to the plan. You saw the price shoot up last Q4, and you see it every year. All the veteran sellers get rewarded after the newbies sell out.
Yep. December 5th to the 15th are going to be the best days, depending on your inventory quality, but industry-wide, those are going to be the best days. And specifically December 10th to the 12th are going to be the most wealthy days. So that's when you need to have Chad quantities of your favorite items available. And the nice thing is
up to the 21st. I always say, and I know obviously the whole month of December is great, but I always tell people it's like 14th through the 21st. You should make more profit in that 7-day period than you do the whole second quarter combined, the whole first quarter combined, if you're doing it right.
Well, that's the thing. For a lot of the people, at least in the arbitrage space, they're not going to have the money and the endurance. It's not going to make sense. You know what I mean? It's going to make the most sense because first couple of years you're hunting for proof of concept, right? So you're not going to say no to a 60% ROI today, a 40% ROI today when you can, and then you can sell out your stock and then you can buy more, right? Obviously down the line, you might be a little bit more selective. So when is the time you should be sold out? Never on good items, never.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Never.
I mean, just
On good items, yeah. On the best stuff that's replenishable, the way I see it is that every day you're out of stock on your best products. It's not, oh, we didn't sell this amount today. It's, oh, we missed out on this amount of profit, right? So I quantify it as if we're out of stock on our best product for 10 days, we just lost $3,000, basically.
And you're like long term, you're hurting your buy box rotation. You're hurting a lot.
You're hurting everything, yeah.
In stock percentage. Amazon looks at all that.
But don't worry about, like, ladies and gents, IPI doesn't matter, especially not this.
Right.
Thing. All that matters is net profit, turnover rate, and like your, you know, the quality of the homies you got that you're sourcing with, basically. Like that determines your system. I mean, that's a fact though. Like we can play around with it at all, but it's like the people who have the hyper growth are sitting in Discord calls, they're in group chats, they're having fun doing this stuff, and that's why when y'all see the golden hour hitting right now.
Yeah,
it's like the sun is perfectly hitting off this side.
It was for the clip too.
Yeah.
it's dark here. It's like black,
and it's cold too, right?
No, it was nice today. It was like 60.
And you have state income tax too.
You bring that up
Miles
way too often.
Can we do that? Can I kick Miles?
I don't think so, unfortunately.
I don't think so. I think we got a dictator on our hands.
I knew it was coming. So sales rank is always going to be the same, or theoretically always going to be the same across variation. Sometimes it reports differently, but it ultimately means the same, right? So you got to go through the variation analysis, look at the reviews, ratings inside each rating or inside each variation, and kind of decipher that yourself.
Yeah. So guys, if you have 10 plus ASINs and you aren't using an automated repricer, you're pretty much losing money. So we'd highly recommend getting a repricer set up. The nice thing is you can use a BQL free trial. There's a link in the description. I'm sure these guys have repricer free trials linked in their descriptions as well. So you're losing money if you're not using an automated repricer. In terms of repricing strategies, I mean, the biggest thing is just making sure your minimums aren't too low. Don't really worry about the maximum prices. Just put $999 if you're a beginner. And then if you're using BQL AI, I like the AI equalizer feature. And if you're using rule-based with AI, I like the idea, or with BQL, like the lower versions, I like match buy box.
What revenue per month for using a prep center? If you're in California, America, then you maybe like right away because you're paying 10% sales tax on everything. So the second you pay $10 or more for an item, you're wasting time and money.
But ultimately, I mean, it depends, right? If you have a family, if you have kids, if you like doing other stuff, then every situation is different. But if you're writing that and you're 18 years old, dropped out of college, and you have time, well, then you should probably kind of run it yourself for a while.
Oh yeah, well, you need stuff to take videos of for Twitter, of course, too. Right? How else are you going to meet the boys, right? How else is it going to happen? You know, it's definitely not going to happen, you know, with an anonymous account.
And the general rule of thumb that I give is once you're sending 500 units per month to FBA, then it might make sense to get a prep center at that point. I always recommend people, really regardless of your situation, I mean, if you're trying to make Amazon either a side hustle or especially if you're trying to make it a full-time job, I think you owe it to yourself to learn the prep process and the shipping process, at least for a little bit, right? So if that means doing 4 or 5 shipments and then handing it off to a prep center, great. But at the very least, like send one shipment, right? Before you outsource it to a prep center, like at least do that because you're doing yourself a favor at that point.
And
there definitely are prep centers that are more beginner friendly that don't have minimums, I feel like.
Well, most
I
of
remember
like
my first shipment took I think my first shipment took me a long time to put together. And it was like probably 40 books or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, I had to go through and like list them by condition. I remember I sorted them out like this pile is acceptable. This pile is good. This pile is very good. And yeah, it took a while. But like, then I learned once I hired a prep center, I'm like, oh, I know how this should be done. So theoretically now I can hire somebody to do it.
The first shipment is rocket science. They have not made it any easier after years.
It's harder now. It's like harder now than it was.
Well, I feel like
the second one is easy though.
All of our first shipments was books, which is everything is different. It's a lot easier once you have like
it is completely different.
Bunch of stuff of the same ASIN. It seemed impossible.
Yeah, I'm like, how do people scale this? Like, there's no way people are making more than like.
Then you slowly iterate. Then you realize about inventory lab and all the barcode scanners and how important is keeping FBA inbound shipping prices low or under $1.
Not super. I mean, well, I guess it's important. It's really easy to do though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just ship heavier boxes if you're paying $1 a pound.
Yeah.
Shoes are naturally just gonna be more expensive just because the volume is higher.
They're usually not even $1 a pound though. Even with big shoe boxes.
Yeah, you got to have the perfect box. You got to fit them.
Yeah.
You got to not be getting splits. Your quantity's got to be good. There's a couple other things that go into it. All right, I just put out a funny tweet.
Any benefit to using a price looping strategy? Yeah, absolutely. You should be raising your prices at least in the middle of the night, every night. 2 a.m. to 4 a.m., raise your prices by 10%. If other people on the listing do the same thing, then everybody's price goes up. If there's two other sellers who are just matching your price, they're going to follow your price up. And then you get to start the next day with a much more profitable listing.
Thanks. And then, guys, just a reminder, too, every Monday we're going to be running this, even in the deep, dark trenches of Q4, right? So 5 p.m. on YouTube and Instagram Live every Monday. It's going to be popping. Like, you guys just wait. You guys see these December 11th, right? Like, there's going to be bags under your eyes, right? Some of your guys' souls might be in the body, right? But that's the thing. You will have hit that first 10K profit month, that first 20K profit month. You realize society lied to you about money the whole time. You realize the guy on Twitter that was saying FBM wasn't worth your time was completely wrong, right? It's go time. It's time to lock in. So a month from now, we can eat up heavy. Trenches, yeah, absolutely.
You know who already has the Q4 eyes is Pete.
Low key. Like, grows up in Wisconsin. Like,
it's the Wisconsin eyes, bro. Like,
Corey's the type of dude who doesn't know who Pete is.
Like,
I know who Pete is. I met him at AMZ United. He was in the room.
Yeah. How was AMZ United, Garrett?
It was sick.
Your ancestors fought hard to give you the freedom to pump FBM to the moon this December. Do not disappoint them.
we might have Wisconsin eyes, but we're up on the top 5 list at least.
Yeah, easily. Yeah, easy. I don't low key. I do in the back of my head. I know the worst states too. I'm not gonna say them, but I know them as well.
We can't start it. We can't start any fights.
Yeah, no. But for a fact, I actually am gonna type a couple of them in the private chat.
He's got the season, dude. Like I feel like it
goes
goes
dark. So it's so like it gets cold and dark. It's not the move.
It's so funny when Pete, like, because he's on camera a lot. Sometimes he looks like fresh as day, and then other times you could just see the bags. You can just see the truck.
Okay, do you guys agree with what I just put in the chat there? That's just facts too.
We're just talking about shitty states.
No. So we have I released the power rankings of the best states for Amazon sellers per capita. Right, which I will read.
What does that even mean?
No,
best state for Amazon sellers per capita. That sounds like one of those stats you just like make up.
No, well, I did make it up, but who else would know better than me?
But like, or are you saying like which states has like the most Amazon sellers? Like, has the most Amazon sellers?
No, it's states with the highest level of per capita successful Amazon sellers.
Like success rate. I think he said he's trying.
So
to
you made up this stat just so that you could put your state as your area as number one.
Where else are 20 Amazon sellers all doing 100K a month, and the other dudes who were new all did 10K their first month having dinner? That's where I thought. Nowhere else.
Probably like somewhere in
probably
LA.
Many states, California, New York.
Where's the picture?
Not in terms of a community though. Yeah, I was gonna say there's no community.
There we go.
Right. Yeah. So it doesn't. Yeah. It's like if a tree falls in the woods, does anybody hear it?
Well, there we go. So it's Minnesota's number 1, Southeast PA is number 2, Utah,
Pennsylvania specifically, not the state.
Minnesota. I didn't even know there was a big concentration in Minnesota.
Well, exactly. There's not, but per capita. Per capita, right? There's not a high level in Wisconsin
in this context,
but it's per capita, right? And then South Florida's number 6.
You just gotta release a thread of all 50 and your
all 50 ranked. Yeah, you need to rank every state, Miles.
People in Illinois would have beef with me.
That would get so much engagement, though. You have no idea.
I remember in college, I was supposed to have dinner with my grandparents at like 6:30, and it was like an hour and a half away. And I dropped my boy off at the train station, then was in traffic, boom, hit the Nike out, bang, $600 profit, bang, made it to dinner on time too. That was like 5 years ago today, actually. Interesting story.
Somebody called you. You got the Zuckerberg. Oh, you kicked Corey out.
Yeah,
Why?
Jack told me to, bro. He told me to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
he told me to. Yeah.
Corey, you got the Zuckerberg, but I like that they added human Mark Zuckerberg this
Right,
time.
yeah, I saw that. That's the second
Wait,
time this
put
week.
Matt Daly's profile
twice
pic
every
up
week.
again. That pic goes so
Yeah, he used
hard
to have the Jets. Yeah, that's fine.
with the background.
Wisconsin, Wisconsin has a bunch of people. Minnesota. Wisconsin's good too, though. Wisconsin has a bunch of good people, and Minnesota.
Being next to Nike Island makes you feel the cold, not feel the cold as much. Yeah, you should be in there at least twice a day if you're close.
Well, because he lives close. Yeah. So Wilkins is conveniently located between 2 Nike outlets, of which Garrett and I used to go to both of them all the time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep.
How many products should you be finding per hour when you're sourcing? Is an interesting question we get a lot. It's not about like a per hour product rate, right? It's about how much money you spend on days where you know there's an opportunity that you can be sourcing through. Because some days there's not an incredible opportunity, and that's fine, right?
Yep.
It's not like oh, I sat down today for 4 hours and I only found 5 products. I'm a failure. It's over the course of the last month, I met my spend goal. I'm crushing it, right? That's how you should look at it.
It's a very good tweet there too. Might go over some people's heads, but it's a very good tweet. You could add like a few to it or lessons.
Few or
multiple. Or there could be multiple lessons in there. I don't know.
But that's part of the reason why this business scales so much is once you realize a good opportunity, you can turn a single into a home run, right? You can turn a double into a home run because you have the confidence and the competence to really double down on something that works.
Yeah, and all the opportunities lead you to other stuff too. That's pretty cool.
But yeah, to Warner's point, there's little to no value in tracking spend or input on the daily basis, at least in the weekly basis, right? Because stuff happens, stuff changes so much with the OA space that it doesn't make sense to compare your Monday to a Tuesday or Tuesday to a Wednesday, right? Compare months or at least weeks. A massive shoe dude who does a couple hours.
Yeah, if you're not storefront stocking JME goods, are you really about it?
The problem with the massive storefronts is that they're looping the discounts that the new guys don't know about.
There we go. Well, that's everyone that's making money is looping the discounts that the new guys haven't found yet. That's the key to all this stuff, ladies and gents.
Where's Texas on the list?
See, now Texas is middle of the pack. It's a bigger state, so naturally they're are we all speaking per capita wise? High sales tax though, right? So it's just middle of the pack.
They do have some prep centers down there.
Yep. Well, prep centers don't matter.
But, concentration of Amazon activity.
Yes, right there. But yeah, there's some states that are definitely lacking that we'll keep private for now. But the nice thing is that you can move. Your chances of if you were born in Southeast PA, you're basically bred for it. They got outlets all over. They got sales tax advantage. You got you might have gone to high school with Steven Reinhart. That's this thing. It's you get these chances. Everywhere.
There's Marshalls every other block. TJ Maxx is around the corner. Burlington's everywhere.
And if you were in Amazon Tau Omega at Westchester University in PA, there's a 75% chance you do 10K your first month. And that's a real statistic too across
Amazon Tau Omega.
Yeah, or sorry, Alpha Tau Omega, but the group chat's called Amazon Tau Omega. Yeah, you would know nothing about that, Corey.
I wouldn't.
But no, this is why are we letting Miles get away with this? This was our week to bully Miles.
Yeah, we take turns.
We're letting him
Corey,
on Corey
doesn't get out of
again.
the doghouse until he shows up with a Rise and Grind T-shirt.
Facts.
I had a feeling that might be coming today.
Ooh, okay.
Well, you've graduated from the hazing until then.
All right, fair enough. I'll make my purchase right after this call.
Oh,
You still haven't gotten it?
That's what I said.
I had a he said he reworded that differently.
We thought it was
Somebody send me the
arriving
link. I'll get
today. We
one.
thought it was arriving today.
Oh no, I was saying I was expecting that joke today because you made it last week. Shitting on me for the No Rise and Grind T-shirt.
Facts. I'm non-tax in Oregon, so do I have to pay tax? No, you don't have to pay tax if you're in non-tax Oregon.
Yeah, that's
Just
a big
even if
advantage.
you're located in Oregon, they don't even have. There's no sales tax in Oregon whatsoever. Correct?
Pretty sure, yeah. Oh, I'm actually 100% sure, yeah.
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 How quickly can you name all the others?
Minnesota's partial, Pennsylvania partial, Montana, Oregon, Delaware, New Hampshire, Alaska. That's
Is it Wyoming?
no, I think I know
I
someone.
think I think you pay in Wyoming.
Which is crazy that they don't give people who live in Wyoming.
There's like 12 people in Wyoming, and
Come
I
on,
couldn't even. I honestly couldn't even tell you where it is. Northwest, is that like that corner up there?
yeah, I mean it's around there. Yeah. This is-
homie who's spamming the supplier question. It's any website that wants your money and you can source profitable stuff from. There's no like best website, my friend.
Well, I mean, the cool thing is, right? SellerApp makes that so easy. You start on any single Nike listing that has a lot of OA sellers on it. You just hit the Google button, right? And you'll see 20 different OA sites that you could potentially buy from. That's your supplier. That's your catalog. And then you just dig into each and every one of those and you'll find money. Wyoming isn't real.
Cold calling and emailing wholesalers still the best way to contact suppliers? Yes. Well, everything works. It just if you'll do it a bunch, it'll work for sure. Okay. What is the most efficient way to source? Reverse sourcing storefronts and then Google for a place to buy, or checking sales sections of different websites. Reverse sourcing is going to be better as a beginner. Manual sourcing, which is going on the websites, is going to be more profitable. However, it's only really good if you know your favorite websites, which if you're asking that question, you probably don't yet. So you want to be doing a lot of reverse sourcing in Keep It Product Finder.
How many offers is too many, especially for clothes and shoes for a listing under 100K, right? So start with the seller app number, estimated sales, dig into how many competitive sellers, dig into any skewing variations, any skewing sellers on that listing, right? And then just slowly you can continue to peel back the layers of the onion and identify potentially, right, about how many sales you could potentially earn. But it's going to be different, right? There's going to be listings that have 1,000 sales going to it with 2 different variations and maybe 20 sellers on each. Then there's going to be other listings that have 400 sales going to it with 80 sellers on it, right? So you're going to have to identify and look into each and every listing. Thoughts on seed oils, Miles?
Terrible. Avoid them. Not good.
How do you deal with shoe and clothing returns? Just bump up your criteria to account for that $250 return charge, right? Like the nice part with a lot of shoes and clothes is that they're expensive, so that $250 as a percentage isn't that bad, but it can be if you're buying a bunch of like $10 t-shirts and stuff.
Any list out there of websites that cancel big orders? So the nice thing, man, is order cancels are repairable on most websites, and sometimes they're even random. It's like Target's going to cancel you heavy, Hibbett's going to cancel you heavy, but for the most part, I wouldn't really worry about that at all on these other websites, and I would just worry about cancels if they happen, because they're not always going to happen on certain websites.
I feel like someone came out with like a little extension that kind of.
It's inaccurate. Like don't.
Yeah.
You need your own data. You need your own data. Like I mean, I've made disgusting amounts of money on one site that they said canceled heavy on it.
Yeah, I checked it out of curiosity. It's like all the best sites they say cancel. It's like I was saying. It's just so for person to person. There's no use in cataloging that.
You know, you like if you're connected well, you get the loops to get around it. You try a bunch to get around it, right? And you can make a lot of sense.
Would you avoid bleach-based products? Yeah, I mean, just anything that you're like a little bit suspect about, like shipping into Amazon causing damage. There's so many good products. There's no reason for your first item to be wasp spray and like that kind of stuff.
So somebody asked, what is the best way of going about ungating yourself within wholesale? Do you get a 10-unit invoice before buying the MOQ? So that would definitely be our approach. So a lot of times, like big wholesalers are going to have a big MOQ, which means minimum order quantity, anywhere from 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 or more. So if there's a product that we're looking to buy from them, but we're gated in the brand, what I'll do is I'll just go to Target or one of these retail stores first and buy 10 units, get the receipt or the invoice, upload it to Amazon, get ungated from that 10-unit purchase. And then once I'm fully ungated, go back to my wholesaler and place that order. Because what you don't want to do is spend $20,000 because that's the minimum on that brand and hope that invoice is going to get you ungated. And then for whatever reason you have issues and now you're sitting on that inventory and it's costing you money.
Facts.
Someone said I Photoshop invoices. Don't do that.
He's in the streams
sure
enough.
I'm
pretty sure he's joking.
Dudes will do anything except just resubmit the emails like we tell them to. Like legit anything but that.
We are noticeably less ungating questions though.
And
Tonight,
thank
yeah,
God
there's
for that,
less.
baby. I'm proud of you guys, man. I'm proud of you guys. Let's keep this momentum going.
They've been showing up to enough money one
Well,
day.
I just
they know the
answered an
answer already.
ungating question.
That's fine.
Yeah, but I think that was the first one though.
Yeah, the
34
Right. And that
occasional-
wasn't just like a, hey, how do I get ungated? It was a good question.
That was a good question. Yeah, and it's good banter too, right? You know.
I feel like I'm a brag on the people who show up. You guys ask questions that you typically can't Google, and that is what a lot of like Q&As I see is just asking people questions you can Google.
Yeah.
Well,
how,
you know,
how to
you
make
guys
an
watching
FBA
this,
shipment.
you know, if you're hanging out with the boys on here, you know your IQ is above average. Like you're in the right place. We're gonna take care of you guys this whole Q4, and especially at the Q4 masterclass this Wednesday, 7 p.m. Right, bring your notebooks. There's gonna be some
What a
certain
transition!
sourcing
What a transition!
that we haven't shared anywhere else except our last Q4 sourcing call, which was about 2 weeks ago. So check that out if you haven't already. Very, very important. November 8th, 7 p.m. Eastern. Gonna be a lot of sauce dropped.
We gotta start putting together the itinerary for Black Friday call.
Oh,
Hey,
midnight. Yeah, midnight. Completely. midnight, and then throughout the day, certain other times too.
Are you guys not with like family and stuff for Thanksgiving?
Not at midnight.
Not Black Friday,
midnight,
just
yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, not
Black
at
Friday's
midnight.
not a holiday.
Black Friday, yeah.
Okay.
So Josh Henderson has a question. I think a lot of people might have this question run into this issue. So he said he bought a probiotic supplement. He's ungated from the brand, but he's restricted at the product level. So Josh, there are like many instances where you're going to be ungated in the brand, but then there's going to be specific products from that brand, specific listings that you are gated in, right? So for example, I'm ungated in Gillette, the brand, but there's still some Gillette ASINs that I'm restricted in, and I can't even apply to get ungated. So just know that if you're testing a product, make sure that you not only are ungated in the brand, but in the specific ASIN that you want to sell it under as well.
Okay, so
That happened to us with Laura Mercier. Mercier.
good brand too. When do you recommend turning off 0-day handling time? So I would recommend turning off 0-day handling time when your parents threaten to kick you out of the house for spending too much on the ASIN because on the bolo or bolos because you've already filled up your room, the garage is already full, and then it's an ongoing battle for the living room too.
That's the universal
agree with that
answer.
point.
Everyone in stream.
Yeah. Like that's like no one can argue with that. That is the way to do it.
Miles
Gabriel
Miles has had his bedroom full of inventory in his parents' house for
years.
years.
I'm sure it's still full.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's the same boxes.
I at least pay rent on that. I have had the same, but I got that monthly rent.
Bro said great answer. Yeah, dude. Like that's the thing. Like you got to be pushing yourself to the brink. You're not going hard enough. Like if you're commuting to a job you hate and you're not overwhelming yourself with FBM orders, you don't really hate the job.
So Gabriel said, my shipment of 200 units has been under status checked in for a little over a month. Is this normal? So it's definitely not normal to be in checked in status for over a month, but what'll happen is eventually it'll go to closed status and either Amazon will receive everything or they won't. And so if it goes to closed status and they didn't receive anything, you can upload your invoice or your receipt and Amazon will reimburse you for that inventory. It might take a while and you might have to fight them on it, but they will give you your money back eventually.
Oh, this dude's goated. Dropped off a few pallets worth today. That's fire. I stopped around a year ago, but had to go through wholesalers to getting it. You actually never did, Steven. Receipts have worked for like the past 3 years. Just use the receipts and you'll be chilling.
I would not look too much into the offers tab on Keepa. There's so many other better places to get that insight from.
It's very inaccurate data because like order limits, FC transfer screws up like that. I wouldn't be looking at that at all. Currently own the basement, garage, and parts of the dining room. See, now if you're getting into the dining room, that's when we start to get above 300. Like that's when just like space allocation wise, right? Like if you're getting into the dining room as well, you have to be pushing a 300 ball, 50K profit, right? Because like if you're taking up the dining room, you got to be putting up a salary and profit per month.
So I think this is interesting. Steven said he stopped around a year ago, but back when he was selling, he had to go through wholesalers to get ungated. So yeah, Steven, me too. Back when I started in 2017, the only way to get ungated was an invoice from either directly from the manufacturer or from a distributor, an authorized distributor, right? So nowadays, retail receipts work. Previously, that wasn't the case.
But even still, back then, Eastbay was the ungate for Nike, and they were just like an OA site. And this is
maybe that is the case. I mean, I guess it was probably a little easier for like shoes and apparel, but I mean, if you were doing like yeah, it was just harder to do for some categories than others.
Well, low key, and dudes just weren't talking about stuff either. Like there wasn't.
That's true. There was zero information back then, dude. I remember back then, like people were offering, like selling like Nike ungating services for like $9.97.
They still are, bro. They still
I
are.
know they still are, but if you think you see a lot of it now, imagine what it was back then when there was like zero information. And like a lot of people, like that was the hustle. Like I mean, so many people paid for that.
Yeah,
Well, the
that's
crazy
why-
thing is, there was a time where I would have paid that. Like if
Oh,
I did,
Right.
Yeah.
Because the ROI is so clear. It's like, hey, you pay 1,000 to have the ability to make 100,000 this year, 200,000, 300,000.
Yeah, Steven, dude, you can just use like East Bay and shit. And Steven, don't you have a very viral Amazon FBA video on YouTube, right? I'm pretty sure he
Yeah,
does.
he's got the retail arbitrage video.
That's lit. That's awesome.
Let me.
Oh, he's got one video. It's got 1 million views, baby. Yeah, that's
Really, that's sick.
that's fire. But he quit. He quit after 30 days though, so I don't really know how it would work in 30 days. If you have capital as of right now, would you recommend to wait to buy inventory until Black Friday? Nah, because if you're asking that, you probably don't have any proof of concept yet. So it is crucial that you get as much proof of concept and learn as much as you can. And you're going to need your own anecdotal data to learn. Oh, it's clickbait. All right.
Clickbait.
Makes sense.
what is the risk of creating new listings? I mean, the risk is no demand, right? You have to bring the demand to the listing, right? That's why all of us specialize in simply providing the supply to a given and trusted demand.
Oh, continue with that way after the video. Oh, dope. Okay. Do Nike clearance outlets also have Black Friday sales? Do they ever, man? 30% site wide, right? Now you can get in the trenches, or you can post up in the streams with the sun, ripping away and such, right? Have that burner email address. They're going to be sending you marketing materials from hundreds of different websites, right? Yeah, I mean, RA is going to be popping during Black Friday too. Do you worry that a prep center may jump on listing themselves? Absolutely. That is why you pick someone that's been in business for a while, has a reputation, and then you can really easily check who's selling on your listings too. Like if they all start going down in price and you see one seller consistently on them and that seller's address is that state, it's probably that. But you want to make sure they don't sell on Amazon. You want to give them a reason not to, which is that you want to be a long-term partner and make them a lot of money too.
It's suicide as a prep center too. Like they rely on trust, and as soon as one person goes on Twitter saying XYZ prep center scammed me, they sold my items, they're done. That happened like 2 years ago, and they're done now.
Yep, facts.
I mean, same thing Miles was talking about with the prep centers is the same sort of methodology if you're concerned with the VA, right? If you think or suspect a VA is sharing your leads with 6, 7, 10 other people, we'll go back and kind of timeline it out. When did you get the lead? When did sellers start to join that listing? And if the same sorts of sellers have been joining multiple listings that you've gotten from that VA.
Facts.
But I mean, the main thesis across a lot of this stuff is just relationships, right? The better relationship you have with your prep center, the less likely they are to do something to harm you. Better relationship you have with the VA, the better off you are long term. Right? The more rewards, the more benefits you give them, the more equity you give them in the business, the more stake, right? The better relationships with your wholesalers, the more positive the outcome will be, right? It's all about relationships.
Better relationship you got with the boys, the more FaceTimes you're going to get when the Bolo restocks.
That's it. Can I ungate Nike through the Nike website? Yeah.
Any brand website, guys. Any big website. Marvel ungating, marvel.com, Kohl's, anywhere else. Scott, you've been around way too long to be asking that, though, my man.
That wasn't Scott. Scott.
It was Scott. Look.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I see.
Well, I thought you used the Marvel as an example. I was like, that's a weird example for it.
If you guys are willing to share RPMs, I think mine's around like 25. Or no, see, I'll look at it for you, Steven.
I think it's actually against your YouTube terms of service to share that.
Mr. Beast
at least publicly.
Mr. Beast shares it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not enforced then.
Yeah. Let me check. Yes.
I've got a buddy that works for Nike. Would it be ethically questionable to have him update me when clearance drops?
Bro, get the bag. Get the bag. Like your other option is increasing shareholder value for 60 years. Get the fucking bag.
Who's it ethically gray towards? A giant multi-billion-dollar corporation too, right?
That's producing products for
that is making it in China. Like, yeah.
Someone said, bribe him.
Bad.
What type of coffee? Miles is actually a huge frappe guy from Starbucks specifically. He's getting there. He's going there every. I know.
Okay. I thought you were serious, bro.
Maz loves his Starbucks. Possible ungate a lot of big brands such as Nike, even with invoice. You just gotta try, man. Repetition.
Come on. Yeah, join in the work. Yeah, cool. Sweet, guys. All right, this was a fantastic stream. This was one of the all-time Money Mondays. We appreciate all of you guys tapping in. We got 20 guys live here on Instagram, 160 you guys here on YouTube. Make sure you get registered for the Q4 Masterclass going down on Wednesday, right? Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. It's linked in the description. It's linked in my bio on Instagram. Any last words for the people, ladies and gents? Feel free, score predictions. I'm going to hoop after this. Who am I going to be coming up? Ooh. Who am I going to be tossing up? Let me know.
Yeah, it's game time, folks. It's Q4.
Right? So we're going
time.
on, right? I'm catching the rock. Boom.
All right.
Straight 2 dribbles, pump fake. He flies by. Easy layup on the first one, and then we take the jump right there. Have a great
Easy.
one.
Wi-Fi